Have you ever caught yourself doing it? You're standing in the shower or washing the dishes or driving down a quiet stretch of highway, and you are having a full-blown, incredibly articulate conversation. Not with a passenger, not on the phone, with yourself. Maybe you're rehearsing an argument you plan to have later. Maybe you're analyzing a weird interaction from 3 years ago. Or maybe you're just quietly narrating your own actions, whispering, "All right, let's grab the keys, lock the door, and get out of here." If you've ever suddenly realized you were doing this and looked around, panicked, wondering if anyone saw your lips moving, you've probably asked yourself a quiet, slightly terrified question. Is this normal? Am I crazy for talking to myself? Society often paints the act of talking to yourself as a quirk, a sign of being distracted, or worse, a symptom of a fracturing mind. We are told to quiet our minds, to be present, to stop overthinking. But science tells a remarkably different story. You're not malfunctioning or failing to be present. You just have a brain that takes the immense, overwhelming data of being alive and insists on building a bridge through it. To understand what this behavior actually means, we have to look at the invisible architecture of your mind. When you talk to yourself internally, you aren't just imagining words. You are physically generating language. Neuroscientists have discovered that during inner speech, your brain's primary language centers, specifically Broca's area, which handles speech production, and Wernicke's area, which handles language comprehension, light up with the exact same electrical ferocity as they do when you are speaking out loud. Your brain is literally simulating speech. It is an orchestra playing at full intensity, but with the master volume knob turned perfectly to 0. But here's the strange part. If your brain is firing the exact same signals it uses to talk, why aren't you shouting your inner monologue at the barista? Because of a hidden, brilliant mechanism called motor suppression. As your brain plans the words, it sends microscopic electrical impulses down toward your vocal cords. But at the exact last millisecond, a secondary neural network steps in and hits the brakes, actively suppressing the physical movement of your throat and mouth. It is a phantom voice, made entirely of pure electricity. And yet, despite the fact that this voice has no sound, you hear it perfectly. You recognize it as you. This is thanks to a bizarre and beautiful neural mechanism known as corollary discharge. Think of corollary discharge like your brain sending a carbon copy of an internal email to itself. When you generate a thought, your motor system sends a split-second warning signal to your auditory cortex that says, "Hey, an internal sound is coming. Don't panic. It's just us." This is why you can't tickle yourself. And it's why you don't perceive your own inner monologue as a ghost or a stranger's voice. Your brain carefully labels the thought as self-generated before you even consciously perceive it. This isn't just a quirk. It is an evolutionary masterpiece. Just like a day on Venus is technically longer than a year on Venus, time inside your head operates on an entirely different physical axis. A split-second event in the real world can be stretched, paused, rewound, and debated for hours inside the private universe of your mind. And coordinating this incredible time-bending process is a system called the Default Mode Network, or the DMN. The DMN is the night watchman of your identity. It activates when you stop paying attention to the outside world and turn inward. It is responsible for daydreaming, retrieving memories, and envisioning the future. When you talk to yourself, your brain synchronizes its language centers with the prefrontal cortex and the DMN to process complex self-referential narratives. You aren't just spacing out, you are actively organizing reality. Psychologically, healthy instructional self-talk acts as a cognitive scaffold. When you narrate your tasks or internally weigh options, you are leveraging dopamine to maintain focus and hold delicate pieces of information in your working memory. You are giving your brain a handle to grip onto in the rushing river of consciousness. But this is where it changes, because the voice in your head is a tool, and like any powerful tool, its impact depends entirely on how it is wielded. If your internal dialogue becomes purely critical, if you use that brilliant time-bending simulator to endlessly replay your failures, criticize your appearance, or obsess over a mistake, you trigger a biological trap. Your brain is brilliant, but it is also incredibly gullible. When you engage in self-critical rumination, you overstimulate the amygdala, the ancient almond-shaped threat detector in your brain. Because your inner speech uses the same neural pathways as external reality, your brain struggles to tell the difference between a real-world danger and a manufactured internal one. If you internally scream at yourself that you are a failure or that everyone is judging you, your amygdala reacts exactly as if a predator has just stepped into the room. It floods your system with cortisol. It initiates a prolonged stress response. Your heart rate elevates, your digestion slows, and your neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to grow and adapt, is actively impaired. Chronic rumination literally trains your brain to perceive your own thoughts as a hostile environment, dramatically increasing your susceptibility to clinical depression and anxiety. Your brain doesn't just hear your thoughts, it believes them. But your brain also offers a backdoor, a hidden psychological mechanism to pull you out of the dark. If you ever find yourself trapped in a spiral of negative self-talk, behavioral psychologists have discovered a simple, profoundly effective trick: cognitive diffusion. Specifically, third-person self-talk. Instead of saying, "I can't do this, I'm messing everything up," you shift the pronoun. You use your own name. "Okay, David, you're overwhelmed right now, but you can figure this out." By simply dropping the word I and using your name, you force a spatial shift in your brain. You create immediate cognitive distance. You trick your neural circuitry into processing the situation not as a personal crisis, but as if you are advising a close friend. This tiny linguistic shift instantly lowers amygdala activation. It stops the cortisol flood. It shifts power back to the prefrontal cortex, significantly reducing anxiety and impulsive reactivity. You are literally rewiring your emotional state just by changing a single word. So, the next time you catch yourself whispering to the empty room or having a silent, passionate debate with yourself while waiting in line for coffee, don't feel embarrassed. Don't tell yourself to just stop overthinking. Honor what is actually happening. You are witnessing the highest form of human cognition. You are watching your brain weave memories, language, and future projections into a cohesive sense of self. You are utilizing a neural simulator that took millions of years of evolution to perfect. We spend our entire lives searching for connection. We look for partners, for friends, for mentors who will listen to us, understand our complexities, and guide us through the strange, often terrifying experience of being alive. But the profound truth of human existence is this: you are the only person who will be with you from your first breath to your absolute last. The inner monologue you carry is the longest, most intimate conversation you will ever have. It is the invisible thread that sews the days of your life together. To talk to yourself is to keep yourself company in the vastness of the universe, to be a friend to your own mind. And that might actually be the whole point of having a mind after all. If you found this exploration helpful, or if it made you feel a little more at home in your own head, consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to keep exploring the beautiful hidden mechanics of your mind together. Until next time, be kind to the voice inside.